It's the Vestavia Hills City Schools podcast. I'm Whit McGee.
And I'm Brooke Wedgeworth.
Well, Brooke, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Whit. How are you?
Doing very good. Thank you. We're near the end of October now and careening headfirst into the holidays coming up.
I know. I was just thinking it's almost November, which means Thanksgiving. Then we have winter holidays, and I feel like the next 2 months are just going to fly by.
Yep. Did you get to go to any of the carnivals or any of the activities here at the schools? I saw the one at West, Vestavia Hills Elementary West next to us here last night. Wow, that thing is huge.
I know. I actually missed the carnival last night, but I've been quite busy with all of our athletic activities going on and excited about the football game tonight at the high school. So getting ready for that.
Absolutely right. Dr. Patrick Martin is here with us again for our second October episode. Some things that you're excited about in late October, early November in the schools.
Well, we're at a point where we've sort of finalized all of our summer and early school activities and operations with regard to any type of building needs and whatnot. And so really looking forward to the One Rebel, One Future initiative opportunities there, as well as, items that we'll be working on throughout the early winter, spring, and then even into summer of 2023.
That's right. And again, we've been talking, Brooke, about One Rebel, One Future throughout the fall. And on today's episode, we're unpacking another portion of that, which is our Healthy Schools plan. And this is something that is being driven in part by the folks at Schneider Electric. And so we've got Todd Smith joining us by Google Meet today. Todd, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Whit. It's great to be a part of y'all's podcast, and we're very excited about the work we're planning to do with Vestavia Hills City Schools.
And I have to say, this is very interesting for me because this is definitely not in my area of expertise. So I'm excited, as I'm sure many of our listeners are, just to hear more about the partnership with your company. So if you could just tell our listeners a little bit about what you do, who do you serve, and maybe just tell us a little bit about some of the work that you've already done with our school system.
Sure. Thank you, Brooke. So again, my name's Todd Smith. I'm the market leader for Schneider Electric across the Southeast. And Schneider's a global company. And it just so happens that our headquarters in Alabama is about a mile from your Board of Ed. We're just off Lakeshore Parkway. So a lot of our employees call Vestavia home. And our division specifically works with public sector clients. So we've worked with around 40 or 50% of the school systems in the state of Alabama. We also work in higher education in cities and counties. But Schneider, on a greater scale, has over 130,000 employees. So we are all over the world. And our focus is from the power plant to the light bulb. So we drive energy delivery, energy reliability, energy efficiency. And so all of the exciting things that are happening in research and development on different types of energy delivery models and healthy buildings and efficiency, that's what we're on the cutting edge of. And a couple things to point out that I think would be interesting to the citizens of Vestavia. Y'all have partnered with the world's most sustainable company. We try to walk the walk, we do what we can, and we've made a massive impact across not only the state of Alabama, but really the entire United States when it comes to K-12 education work. We proudly sponsor just about every single K-12 organization out there and are heavily involved in supporting Alabama K-12. I've personally been doing this for almost 20 years in Alabama. And for a good portion of my career, I called Vestavia home myself.
Wait, Brooke, what I really like about our partnership here with Schneider is, last month we talked about the facility assessment and some of the work that would be done, some of the new spaces. What Schneider is really going to do is come in and enhance current spaces. And I talked a little bit about how it goes without saying, we can't look at the future of new spaces for our different schools without addressing the nearly 1.4 million square feet of space that we already have. And I really think that that's going to be the value add that Schneider brings to the table for us.
I mean, y'all's vision for One Rebel, One Future is fantastic with the new plans, the new uses, some of the new buildings, but the existing schools do have a lot of opportunities for improvement. And that's what we specialize in. That's what we do all across the state. So each and every facility that you currently have kiddos and teachers in, we're going to be touching in some form or fashion. Not only are we going to be making them more efficient, but more importantly, we're going to be making them more comfortable, and we're going to be making them healthier learning environments. And that's going to come in a few different ways. We're going to be doing LED lighting across the district, both on the interior and exterior, including athletics, cafeterias, libraries, the classrooms, the hallways, all the way down to the bathrooms. So you'll see a brighter, cleaner, more efficient, more effective light. It's going to help the learning environment from, the teaching and the learning side. It's been very successful across the state. So we're excited to do that across your district. One of the things that a lot of districts struggle with is keeping up with the massive amount of equipment that you guys have to keep those buildings cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And so when we've done our analysis over the years, we found several hundred units in Vestavia that are getting to that point of needing replacement. And so the administration has helped us put together a systematic plan to address the most critical areas first, and then just work through the district to get you guys up to speed to where you know that you're going to have reliable learning environments, but also because of new codes, new fresh air, just the way that we design and redesign systems, that you're going to have a healthier environment too in terms of the quality of the air. Other ways that we'll be helping the operations staff is we're going to be putting in a system to where the operations staff can really run the entire school system from a tablet, an iPad, an iPhone, a laptop, computer. They'll be able to respond faster to areas when teachers are uncomfortable or you have issues with equipment. It'll drastically change your ability to maintain and create comfortable environments for your kids. And then we're replacing several roofs. We have a lot of roofing work that we're going to be doing because we've identified a few areas of leaks that need to be adjusted, and we want to keep that water and that humidity out of the buildings so you can have a comfortable place to learn. And then finally, water costs are a hot topic in the Birmingham area, and we are making your buildings way more efficient on the water side. So going to some newer technologies with water usage is going to have a huge impact for your system. And when we looked at your utilities a couple years ago, originally you guys were spending almost $3.5 million in utilities. When we complete this first round of projects, we're going to estimate over $1.1 million in reductions annually to your operations, which is just a fantastic impact financially for your district.
Brooke, I wanted to take a minute to go into something that we've talked a little bit before, and that is the impact of the environment in a school on a student's performance. These are things that, 99% of the time you don't even begin to think about because you don't have to think about them. But now we're at a point where we are having to think about them as a school system. And I'm just thinking back to wondering if there were ever times when you were a classroom teacher that the environment had an impact on the day that the students were going to have.
Absolutely. And I know Todd's highlighted some of the different aspects that they're looking at and really, what are those changes going to look like in our schools? But the environment has to be conducive for learning to take place. In schools, we think so much about, teaching and learning, and sometimes even what the building looks like on the outside or the physical appearance, but we often don't think about many of these aspects that he's talked about. So we don't really think about or even notice lighting or cooling, heating, those types of things. But really, if those pieces aren't in place and working well, it really does make a difference. I can think about, obviously, if your lights are out, can't see, but also just sometimes some of the lights are, affect our students and can even be distracting. So I think that we'll see an impact with that. And then, of course, we all know if you're if the heat's not working or, you're burning up because the air's not working, then again, you're already not in a good state to be able to learn. So just like you've got to have those conditions in place and feel good in your environment, just like we feel in our offices to be able to do your work.
With more than 7,000 students in our school system, we have a number of students who have particular health issues that require stability of the environment around them. We talk about lights and flickering and things of that nature that have an impact on some of the students and their health issues or the climate around them. This is a really significant thing, and I would imagine that we almost, Dr. Martin, have to take the same approach to the environment that you might see in a large public building like a hospital or a university campus or places where there are thousands upon thousands of people with all different sort of health needs.
Yes, it comes back to environment, just making sure the environment is conducive for everything from students in a classroom to you stop and you think about the energy efficiency of lights and light poles at our football stadium there at the high school. And the thing that I love most about what Todd talked about is the potential for savings of resources. And you think about resources right now dedicated to utilities, where those resources could really go in the hands of someone like Brooke and Dr. Cooper and others when it comes to our instructional program.
And Todd, you mentioned that the estimated impact initially of this being fully implemented would be more than $1 million a year in savings to the school system?
That's correct. And over the term of our partnership with the schools, we believe that there's going to be in excess of $27 million impact to your budgets. When we say we're going to save over $1 million a year, we don't just estimate it. We don't just, put it on paper. What we do is we partner with you, we track it, we measure it, we verify it, we meet with you on a regular basis. We become one with your school system. We make the site visits necessary to achieve those reductions. And then by statute of Alabama, if we don't achieve those, then we're responsible financially for the school system. So when we implement all of this, we're going to be liable for $1 million a year to Vestavia City Schools. And that's something we take very seriously across the state.
So Todd, if this One Rebel, One Future plan is adopted, what's some of the work that we could expect to see? So maybe something that you're excited about doing initially, or even something you feel like is a top priority.
A few top priorities that are already in the works is the replacement of the chiller system at the high school, which will be taking place next summer. We have already completed all the high school lighting, and we're working on automating that high school with the high efficiency technology that's going to assist the operations staff. That was a very critical item, and so that's already in the works. The next round, if adopted, would be addressing critical areas like Dolly Ridge Elementary. The roof at Dolly Ridge Elementary is very critical. We're working on trying to mobilize a plan for that very quickly. And then the HVAC system there does need a total replacement. We're going to be going with a different type of design, which is going to give the teachers individualized control per classroom to drive comfort and efficiency there at that school. And so that's going to be a fantastic change. We also have work planned on the HVAC side at West. And then we have some roof work over at the Board of Education area. And then every single campus is going to be receiving, like we said, the lighting, the automation, the water improvements. And then we have future phases planned as your equipment ages. We're trying to put together a programmatic approach to take care of the needs as equipment ages out. And so this is an extremely well thought out plan. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
So I do want to take a moment to drive something home that you just mentioned, Todd, and Dr. Martin, I'll pose this to you too. And that is, we've named a couple of campuses here that are sort of an immediate priority in this, but every single campus in our school system is going to be impacted for the good by this plan.
That's right. So we've put, if we look at this as an overall program, in terms of the work that Schneider is going to partner with us on, every single campus will be looking at new controls, new LED lighting, mechanical system updates, roofs as well. I mean, these are needed improvements at all of the schools.
These are things that have to be done in terms of operations for school facilities. You can build a school and you can expect, a good 20-year lifespan out of that facility, but then you have to replace the heavy equipment needs. Roofs have to be addressed. HVAC systems have to be addressed. And then technology changes. I mean, think of how much technology has changed in the classroom over the last 2 decades. iPads, tablets, smart boards, all of that was implemented into Alabama K-12, and the electrical infrastructure and everything wasn't built originally for that. So schools are a very dynamic environment that have to be maintained and addressed in order for the students to have, the best experience and the best performance, and to allow the teachers and the administrators to do their jobs effectively.
Whit, I would just add that, this is the nuts and the bolts of the overall program. Individuals throughout our school system will probably not notice that there's a new mechanical system sitting on a roof or that there is a new roof. But I can tell you, and Brooke, I think you've mentioned this, they will be able to notice if those systems are not working. So this is a critical component.
Well, as we wrap up today, Todd, what would you want parents to know about this plan? And Dr. Martin, you can add to this too, and really how this will impact their children. I do love that we've talked about a couple of times the savings for the school system, and that is huge to me as a employee here and as a parent to know how much money that we really can put back into the system to use for other great programs. So I think that's definitely, to me, one of the best benefits. But anything else you want to make sure that our listeners know about this plan and how it will impact them?
I would like to compliment your administration, your leadership on the thoughtfulness of going through this planning process. These improvements are not easy to make in any type of environment. But when you're trying to take on an initiative like this, we've been working with the administration through the COVID pandemic. We've been planning how to do these things from a constructability standpoint. Just the thought of how we're going to do it, when we're going to be doing the construction, how we're going to be impacting the learning environments has been really enjoyable to have that sort of collaboration. As stated before, we've worked with a good 40 or 50% of the school systems in the state of Alabama. And, I can say that the thought that's gone into this is really impressive. And then from our standpoint, just having our office so close to your Board of Education, we all, in our office are excited about having that partnership so close and just being there and being able to support the operations staff, being there for the teachers and the students. I know that when we invest our work within a school system, we want to become one with the community and look for areas to give back. So we're going to be proud when we will have addressed all of these opportunities within the school system. And I think it's really going to be something that you can hang your hat on, because your parents and your teachers in the community can confidently say that, Vestavia Hills is going to be one of the most efficient, fiscally responsible, and updated school systems in the entire state and really across the Southeast.
Yeah, and I love the sustainability part of it too. The fact that we do this now, we're going to be good for a long time to come. We are going to be reaping the savings, and that is just going to do that much more, Dr. Martin, to boost all of the things we do in teaching and learning, all of the opportunities in academics and athletics and arts and so many other areas throughout the school system.
Wait, you're absolutely right. We, in terms of our school buildings, they have age, they have needs. Todd has addressed that. We just celebrated 50 years of Vestavia Hills City Schools, and this really gets us off on the right foot, celebrating the next 50 years of Vestavia Hills City Schools. Todd and his team will be with us at our October Board of Education meeting. They will be presenting to our board on all of the things that they've talked about here today as as well as a couple of other items that they'll be sharing. So if individuals are interested, come to the board meeting and hear what Schneider has to say.
That's right. And we live stream all of our board meetings too. And those recordings stay on our YouTube channel. If you search for Vestavia Hills City Schools on YouTube, you can go back and listen to that board meeting if you're not able to be there. So if you really want to get into the nitty gritty details of this plan, that board presentation is for you. Todd Smith from Schneider Electric, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you for listening to the Vestavia Hills City Schools podcast. We'll talk to you again soon.